want to know the best teams and equipments to build the new Ultra Super Saiyan Goku, but first you need to know how to use him. This unit is element yellow and he's a melee type. The main thing you need to know about his kit is that he has this mechanic which is like a team survivability, where he's able to save someone if they KO, and that includes himself. It's only one time, but it has some cool advantages. For example, if somebody on your team with endurance gets the endurance nullified and gets KO'd, when Goku saves them, even after bringing them back to life basically, they will still have endurance. Beyond from that, he's mainly just a high damage unit that's meant to press the enemy through his art cards. He does a lot of damage. His defenses are good, but they're not his main focus. His main ability can hinder the enemy, destroying their entire hand and taking all their ki, and he also has an explosive green which can help you start combos much easier. That's pretty much it for Goku. Let's get into building him. So the first team we got here is Saiyans, and it's going to be by far his most popular team. I've got my team looking a little budget because I'm using Super Saiyan Goku Mini, but a better option would obviously be the new Kaioken Goku who dropped in the part 2 of the 7th anniversary. UI Goku, the part 1 unit, and the Ultra here who we're talking about in this video, Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. Let's get into some other options, but what I like to say about Saiyans is Saiyans has a lot of characters, and there's also a lot of characters I don't have, which I'll mention after if they're still good. But the thing about Saiyans is because there's a lot of characters, it's like the bulk of Dragon Ball Legends, the Z abilities don't always mesh the best. So even though a character might be a Saiyan, they won't always buff Saiyans. They might buff another tag like sagas from the movies, a specific saga like Frieza Saga, probably not, or Cell Saga, Buu Saga, etc, etc. So just be wary, they might not always buff Saiyans, so you have to consider the Z ability in cases here and there. But let's get into what options are usable. So we've got Shallots is going to be the starter. Any version that's not Super Saiyan or base, so Super Saiyan 2 for endurance, Super Saiyan 3 does high damage, Super Saiyan God can do good damage too, and Super Saiyan Blue is just the best all-rounder. Safest pick in my opinion. Going into the other blues that we've got here, so these are the ones I have first. Pretty much, I wouldn't recommend anybody but the UI Goku. Maybe Feet Q over here. Feet Q is actually really good with that platinum equipment. And if you have Bardock and Goku high stars, I'd say maybe them, but I wouldn't really recommend them either. Going into the greens, we've got Rev UI who can be a good option. I'd say this free-to-play Goku Mini, if you have him, you need to have him 14 stars and Zenkai, otherwise he's fodder, and even then he's not exactly the best option. He can just do a bit of burst damage. Vegito at 14 stars is still a bit questionable. I wouldn't actually recommend him, but I like using him for fun. And then going into the purples, pretty much the purples is just like Go Frieza maybe. Everybody else is looking pretty much like a liability that's not going to mesh well. People might want to push this guy, Super Saiyan Goku, the instant transmission one, but I'd only say if you have him maybe 9 stars or higher, and most people didn't invest in him, I imagine. So I wouldn't even recommend him at 9 stars. I haven't seen him do anything impressive, but I do know he has the explosive green and he can lock in when his gauge is full. Going into the yellows, of course we've already got Ultra Super Saiyan Goku, but you could also run Kale and Caulifla because they have 2 elements, which is obviously useful. You could switch into the green Kale side, which could be valuable, but the rest of the yellows are pretty much just not it. And then going into the reds that I have, pretty much just not it. I'm using Super Saiyan Goku Mini. He's like the only one I'd recommend really. Maybe Broly at a very high star, like 12. But outside of that, the reds I have are not it. But now let's go into the characters that I don't have, where you see the real source. So God Goku, big pick. You should definitely use him if you have him. Turles can get you places, just be wary of the Ultra ability and the Z ability. Ultra Margin Vegeta, but if you do run Ultra Margin Vegeta, please run a blue with them, because you'll be running 2 yellows, putting you at the mercy of reds, which is very dangerous. We've got Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. I wouldn't actually recommend Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He's only really good on the Diamond team. He won't have his indestructible. And then I'd also put the Kaioken Goku, who I mentioned earlier in this video. And that's pretty much it in regards to the characters I'd recommend if you were trying to run Saiyans. Saiyans does have a good roster, but just be wary of the Z abilities. Like I said, it's a very important factor for if this team is going to work at its best or not. So the second team I've got is Son Family, and it's basically just the same thing as Saiyans. You might want to say it's watered down because there's no Vegeta options, but not really. Instead of Vegetas, you get Gohans. But it's pretty much the same thing as Saiyans, it's just a little bit more strict. So in this case, I've got Ultra Super Saiyan Goku, and the rest is just going to be Saiyan Saga. I've got Feet Q there, and then I would have the red Kaioken Goku that dropped in part 2. You could also have some other options which we're going to go into right now. So if I show you the blues, pretty much the same ones I mentioned in the first team. So Ultra UI is obviously going to be an option, but I didn't want to use them for this case. and the rest of the blues are pretty much just not it. Fiku's the best option. Going into the greens, Goku Mini. You might want to run Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but be wary because he's not a strike type. Goku is, this Gohan isn't. Rev UI in the same boat, but revival layer is always nice. Going into the purples, Go Frieza is going to be your main man. Going into the yellows, we're using a yellow, so be wary, but Beast Gohan might be something you have interest in. Going into the reds, Goku Mini out of the ones I have, and then the ones I don't have, we've obviously got God Goku in the same way, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. You've now got the addition of Gohan and Trunks, who are very, very good actually. You could actually use them, especially if you have them high stars. They released early this year, so power creep might have hit them a little bit. And of course, the Kaioken Goku should be in your sights, as he just released in the previous part. Like I said, Sun Family is pretty much the same thing as Saiyans, just no Vegetas, no other type of Saiyans, and then you slide in a few Gohans that might be of use. Now, the third team and the final team we're going to be using, we're showing you, is Frieza Saga. Now, pretty much, it's just Ultra Super Saiyan Goku on the leader slot, and then you build Lineage of Evil as the bench. So in this case, it'd be the new the Ultra Final Form Frieza in the second slot. I don't have him. And then we've got the Final Form Frieza Zenkai that got a platinum equipment recently. You can run him as well as your third. There's other options as well, which we're going to get into. There's a bunch of Friezas available. So let's go into characters. It doesn't even need to be Frieza Saga. It could just be Lineage of Evil. So as you can see with the Frieza Saga roster, there's not a lot of options, and I've got the settings on, you know, Sparking Legends Limited, Ultra, no element caps, and I've got the episode Everybody from Frieza Saga. It's looking pretty weak, you know. You can run Rev UI over here. Hopefully this guy gets a Zenkai or a Plat. And then in the purples, there's pretty much nothing. Obviously we've got the new yellow here, but be wary of running two yellows. You need to run a blue after to protect them, or you should rather. Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. Krillin, I suggest maybe if you have him high stars, like 9, and then build him defensively. I don't really feel like he's that great at the moment, but I might be wrong. Things happen over time. And then if you've got the Ginyu Force, you might be an investor. But also if I change the tag, so if I take Frieza Force off and I actually turn on Lineage of Evil, you will see that there's a few more options that I want to mention. If I can just find it. Does my eyes want to work right now? Yes. There we go. So in the blue is still the Rev Frieza. Then in the green is going to be obviously the ultra full power one. Purple, you've now got Gold Frieza, and you've got Golden Frieza, which is the main additions, and that's it. That's it pretty much. So the options aren't large, but you know, if you're a Ginyu Force player, then you might have some more options. But for the most part, it's just going to be Goku on the leader slot and then Lineage of Evil for the rest of the team. Right, so we've got some leader slot options, and any of these guys, if you wanted to put them on the leader slot or maybe build the rest of the team around them, the team can still flourish. So we've got the full power Frieza, of course. Even though he's a different type than Goku, the team works very effectively. They're very good with each other because of the survivability here from Frieza, and Goku can also save while doing a lot more damage. Then we've got Margin Vegeta. Just be wary to run a blue, but the lock-in ult and the survivability is super nice to have on your team. We've got Ultra Turles, survivability again, build him defensively. Having that blue with a yellow is super nice, as blue protects yellows from reds. Then here we've got Perfect Cell. Just be mindful of your star level. At 5 stars, I find that he's not the best, especially defensively. He's a liability. But if you have him at least 8 or upwards, I think he can do a lot good, especially because he nullifies endurance as well. He puts fear in enemies' hearts, I'm not gonna lie. Here we've got Goku, of course. This unit here, Saiyans, does a lot of damage, if not one of the most damage right now. And then we've also got Vegeta in that same boat. Survivability is always nice to have a whole revival layer. And then we've got the UI Goku, of course. Blue, like I said, works very well with the yellow unit, but they're both melee types, both on the exact same tags pretty much, so it works very, very well. Now we've got some bench options. So the first one I've got is Legends Limited Bardock, who's a Zenkai buffer for yellow Saiyans. That's perfect for this Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. And the second best option to Zenkai buff would be the Super Saiyan 4 Goku Legends Limited, another Zenkai buffer for yellow Saiyan, which is perfect. Now you're probably going to be running a red, which would be the Kaioken Goku. But even if you're not, this guy gives a HP buff to Goku's the ability. It's not going to be possible to get this Goku if you don't have him anymore. They don't bring back the event. I don't know why. But yeah, if this is red that you have on your team, you should definitely put this unit on your team if you have him on the bench for the HP buff. And he was Zenkai buff, that red Saiyan that you're probably going to be running. Here we've got Broly. I wouldn't actually recommend this one. but if you really want to just max out that strike damage, you can get 50% from one Z ability, which is nice. If you don't have the Zenkai buffer options, it can be a good one. And we've also got Shallot as the last option, who's another HP buffer option that you could put on the team. Again, not one of the best options, but if you're running him, that's an additional HP buff. So imagine you have Shallot on the team, on the lead or something, the whole team is Saiyans. You've got the Kaioken Goku, so you've got the Kakarot Goku as well. That's 2 HP buffs on one team. You can actually get a lot of HP on that team, and you'll be able to survive a lot better than you would without. Now to get into some equipment, this one's going to be very good if you're running Frieza Saga, especially if you've got the new Frieza as well. You wanted me at my strongest, so here I am. Special move on the first slot, and you've got the pure slots. I always explain pure equipment as a multiplier. So if you look at the second and third slot, right, it says 15% to own strike attack, but usually it would say to base strike attack. If the word base isn't there, consider it a multiplier. So what you want to do is build up a lot of base on other equipment on your unit, and then you get one equipment, and then you put the one with pures on them. So this is this case of it where it doesn't say base, and then it will be a multiplier of your base stats. So a bunch of base stats, one equipment with a multiplier, so you get 15% pure, then it builds up your base stats, so you just get a bigger number. You know, very simple to understand if you put it like that. And you can get this from the PvP exchange shop and the dual coin exchange shop. The Bonanza's on it should be, so take advantage of that as well. This equipment here is amazing all round. Base blast attack on the first slot, special move ultimate damage and health restoration. Then the third slot you get strike attack, which is obviously great as well. Unfazed smile, you can get this from the ultimate equipment collection for normal, Sun family and yellow. You might want to build Goku a little bit more defensive, and I find this equipment is super good to do that, especially if you're running a hybrid Saiyan. So if you're going the Sun family route, you get health restoration on the first slot, but then on the second and the third slot you're going to get pure defenses, but you're going to need one hybrid Saiyan on your team. He's a Saiyan, so the blast defense will already apply, but you're going to need a hybrid Saiyan to get the strike defense. Here you can see the tag Super Saiyan, so it works on Goku, and you'll be able to get this from the dual coin exchange shop. This equipment here, there's not much on it, but you're getting strike attack, which is something you'll probably want. You must be Frieza, base strike defense, and you can get 15% on the second slot and then 20% on the third slot, so you're going to be getting 35% in total if you max them out. And you can get this from the equipment medal exchange shop. Considering he's a melee type, just building up the base stats and having easy equipment like this, it's going to be something you might want. We've got this equipment here, which is specifically built for Super Saiyans. Awaken Chia. You can see you can get base strike defense. Try and get the base strike attack on the middle slot. Then you also get special move and key recovery, which is nice. You can get this memory from the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush Shop, but you're going to need the unawakened version to awaken it, which is right here. As you can see, it's not as good when unawakened. I wouldn't advise using it. Actually, I do not advise using it unawakened. And you can get this from the equipment collection for normal Super Saiyan and equipment medal exchange shop, so there's 2 places. The only other one I'd recommend for now, there might be some equipment that come out later in the future, but we got this one here. Dirty Fireworks. Base key recovery, but that's not the most important thing. The special move damage is probably what you might be looking for, and you can still get strike attack on the third slot, 23%, which is slightly less than some of the others I've shown you, but it's still a good amount considering you're getting special move damage off of this equipment. It's for Frieza Saga, and you can get this from the equipment medal exchange shop. That's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully you did find this video useful, as I did put in all the things that I felt would help you guys build the best team and the equipments for the new Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.